The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Media Mash,
A roundtable of Cowboys insiders
dropping wisdom
and offering sizzling takes
on the current state of your Dallas Cowboys.
Now, your host,
Newy Scruggs.
Emergency Media Mash. Let's ride.
Wow. Emergency.
We have things to talk about. We have things to wrap up. And we do it with Clarence Hill, the Fort Worth Star Telegram. Nick Eatman, DallasCowboys.com, the originator, done greater. And nobody tweets it better. Nobody gets the videos out quicker than our man, John Machota of The Athletic. I'm merely Newy Scruggs to help facilitate the conversation. There have been some coaching moves made by the football team. So, Nick, since you work for the team, I'll go ahead and let you start with the announcement of all these fine gentlemen that they've decided to, hey, thank you for your services, and we wish you well in your future endeavors.
Oh, you want me to just take one, or
Man, you just go down the list, man. Go ahead.
I'll just
Okay,
I'll say the one to me that is the most surprising, and that's offensive line coach Joe Philbin. I thought the offensive line has showed not only growth, they showed flexibility, versatility, and then there's been some linemen over the last 2 or 3 years that have really, I didn't think Tyler Biadasz and also Terrence Steele would be playing at that level, and Tyler Smith. So Joe Philbin not getting renewed, that's the one that sticks out the most for me.
Yeah, that'll be interesting too if everything goes to plan for the Cowboys and their offensive tackles for the next 8 to 10 seasons are Terrence Steele and Tyler Smith, who obviously Joe Philbin helped develop and bring along. So that is, I would say, so when I saw the list, I would say that.
Yeah.
That and then George Edwards would be one for me too, just because I think he did a lot to bridge some gaps and obviously help with Micah Parsons and that linebacker group. And so I did not think, he's a guy that, some talked about if Dan Quinn gets a head coaching job, that George Edwards could be DC. He obviously hasn't experienced being DC for a long time with the Vikings. So that one surprised me. And I think even though he didn't say surprised, just judging by Micah Parsons' tweet, I bet you Micah's a little surprised.
And George Edwards was surprised, and Skip Pete was surprised, and you could say Skip Pete. Tony Pollard's in the Pro Bowl, and the way he maximized and used, got Zeke to take a step back. There were all surprises, and
surprise.
My boots are back in Texas.
You can't say surprise and me not think that.
I'm sorry, but. Yeah, George Edwards, what he's done with Micah Parsons and that linebacker group, and you brought up the fact that he could potentially, we thought, that's the problem, we don't know nothing. Right. We thought he was a potential candidate to replace, Dan Quinn. He's out of here. Just, from what I understand, he was shocked and surprised that he was let go.
Let's not forget, too, when you're talking about surprises and also what this kind of means and who's making the ultimate decisions here. When the head coach loses his right-hand man in assistant coach Rob Davis,
that's right.
That makes you kind of wonder too of, you brought him here. What did he do? And he didn't probably do anything. It makes me kind of wonder and Jerry said it last year. Jerry did say he counted by number. There's 29 coaches here, and it didn't look like he was okay with that number. So it makes you wonder, are they just trimming this number down?
Well, you got the assistant, Leon Lett and some other stuff, but
okay,
George Edwards.
Hold on.
What?
The Dallas Cowboys.
Or
if we're just going to keep it real, the Dallas Cowboys should have the highest paid head coach, highest paid offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and the biggest coaching staff, the biggest scouting staff, the best of everything. With the money that the Dallas Cowboys
They're
made.
Not the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, I'm just saying. And none of the things I just said are true. They aren't in any of those areas. And then to Nick's point, that is a good point that you bring that up. He did mention that. So I guarantee you it was
maybe he looks at it like there's 9 people trying to make Thanksgiving dinner. Maybe there needs to be 2. Maybe there needs to be 1. Maybe the whole cooks in the kitchen. That could be part of what he's saying. Do we need 29 people?
I just believe that, again, not being from here, but now having lived here for about 12 years, I feel like on the outside, people think that the Dallas Cowboys have
perception.
The perception is every single thing. Everything you look at, from like team playing to the food they eat, everything like that, stadium, everything like the coaching staff, everything non-salary cap wise, they are, and even with the salary cap, that they're at the very top of every single thing.
Well,
I've seen this before when I covered the
Best
Lakers.
team website.
When I covered the Lakers, it was like, hey, they do this first class, you do that, but they didn't want to pay the coaches. It's just it wasn't what they do. By the way, Leon Lett.
Hold on, let's go back to that real quick. The Lakers don't?
Really? Newy is shaking his head for those driving in the car.
No. And this was back when
I'm just thinking Phil and
so what happened.
Phil had a big chair.
So this was I got there pre-Phil. When I got there, Dale Harris was the coach.
Okay, yeah.
And then they fired him and brought in Kurt Rambis. And that whole summer, the whole thing was about, you know what, man, you're cheap. You won't spend. And that ended up motivating Bus to go out and get Phil Jackson.
That is, I guess you're right. That is a good perception thing because I would never think that about the Lakers. I would think that the Lakers do spend as much as whether you're talking about for a GM or whatever.
Look, he let Shaquille O'Neal go because he wanted to pay him and Kobe. He's like, I ain't paying two max guys. Yeah. It's just So a lot of times there is a perception. Yeah. Parcells great. One of the great lines he had was, "Perception is reality." Yeah. And so that's what people thought. But everybody's got their thing.
But I don't know if we know 100% that this is down to Jerry not wanting to pay 29 coaches as opposed to maybe there doesn't need to be 29 coaches. Maybe you're looking at when we won 3 Super Bowls and all this kind of stuff, like what it was then. And I know that times are different, analytics and all that stuff, but I still think.
Well, the Rob Davis one's interesting to me because the only other coach I covered here was Garrett, and he didn't have like an assistant head coach like that. So was there any other coaches before Garrett that had like a person in that role?
No. And so, again, I wanted to say that these were Mike McCarthy's decisions, but when you do Rob Davis, that tells you that it may have come from the top, which is, disappointing because if you're telling the man who can have on the staff, why are you keeping him?
Okay.
Why are you keeping him? You get rid of 6 coaches, we're blowing this thing up.
Because you like him, but you want to make it look like changes
We're getting rid of 6 coaches. You're most likely going to lose Dan Quinn, so there's going to be more staff of people.
Right.
And no telling who he's going to take with him, if he gets a head coaching job.
Right.
Nah, he can only take one.
Okay, one. Right. I said no telling who he can take with him.
I know, but he can
so
only
he can
take
still
one
take another.
guy.
So it's Dan another, whatever. I'm just saying, though, that what are we doing?
Yeah.
What's the path forward? How are you going to take the next step? Because last year we came into the season saying the reason you're going to be better in 2022 is because the continuity, chemistry, the experience we got from 2021, we're all back. We're all a year older. We got the staff together. Now everybody's on the same page, same offense, ready to take the next step. They failed to take the next step. They had the same record. Ultimately, they failed to take the next step.
Well, they went a round farther in the playoffs.
They didn't. Well, this next step to me is getting to the NFC Championship game and close to the Super Bowl. They didn't do that, and now
I'm saying that with a smile.
Now you're blowing the staff up, and with the onus next year that you must take the next step because 6 coaches gone this year. Next year's going to be McCarthy.
Yeah,
there's no question about that. And now you have to do it with the whole new staff, implementing new systems. Potentially, because we still don't know what's going on with Kellen Moore. And there's still some other coaches' contracts up that haven't been decided yet. So
let me say this though, that it does. The Rob Davis looks like it's coming from somewhere else, but like Leon Lett,
he kept Leon Lett because that's a favor to Jerry.
But they didn't keep Leon Lett.
I'm talking about from Jason's staff.
I know.
I mean, from Jason's staff.
That's why I'm saying. My point is that it's hard to just look at these and go, all right, they have one meaning behind all of them. Because it's like, well, that looks like Jerry's saying, let's trim some coaches. This one looks like.
He might have said, well, you get Rob Davis, I'm getting your boy Leon Lett.
And it might, yeah. The way it works.
That's fine.
But
can we just mention Kyle Valera by name since he's
and Kyle is a guy who is another guy who came from the Jason Garrett staff as well. So and then you talked about Philbin, but I go back to Pete. Again, Pete's departure does not bode well for the future of Ezekiel Elliott because they're tight and they have a connection with the agent and. That whole group is upset.
I don't like that move. I really don't. I look at it that Tony Pollard had the best year of his career, and I think Zeke had a better year this year than he did last year. Mm-hmm. Missed just a couple of games, was close to 1,000, 12 touchdowns. The vision that Skip kept saying at training camp it worked.
Right.
And then Malik Davis looks like a pretty good young back, and all of us fumbled as many times as they did this year.
Right.
I mean, that was a good year for the running back. And
the entire time I've covered the team, I've never had a problem with the running backs coach. I mean, it's been basically the whole time. It's either been Skip Peter, Gary Brown.
I
think they both have done. They both did excellent.
Yeah.
job.
So none. Like I said, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But I'm just saying that if you want to project. You're getting rid of Skip Pete. It does not look good for Zeke's future here.
Yeah.
And I know it's it's all the story that Zeke wants to come back. He's willing to take a yes. He's willing to pay cut. Of course, he's willing to take a pay cut. The question that do the Cowboys want him even at a reduced salary?
My thing though that you mentioned that really that stood out to me is the thing about the changing coordinators and you got to change the schemes and everything like that. One, I don't think you change a lot of the schemes. You're going to bring in someone that how are you going to best utilized if there is a change of defensive coordinator if Dan Quinn does get a job. Also, there will not be anywhere close to the change that there was from going from 20. If you hire the right defensive coordinator from 2020 to 2021, I mean, going from what they did with Mike Nolan to what they did with Dan Quinn in 1 year, the way they turned it around. I mean, a lot of it has to do with the players you have, and so a lot of those players there, the key players are going to be back. So I mean, yes, it will be a transition. It's not going to be smooth. It's going to, there's going to be bumps along the road. But I'm just saying this isn't like college where you're just like they're changing up the whole scheme. Now we got to recruit different players.
But everybody don't communicate what Dan Quinn does.
Absolutely,
every coach is not.
But let me just say, when you have Micah Parsons in this defense. If Dan Quinn does leave, this is a very attractive defensive coordinator job.
No, I agree.
And there's a lot of head coaches out there that have been released in the last two years that would gladly be the defensive coordinator of this team. That are very good.
I know
coaches.
a guy in Denver who said that he had the book out on Dak Prescott last year.
There you go.
It's certainly an option. But Joe Witt too. I mean, Joe Witt's still here. Joe Witt is an option. Now, my question
I just wonder about that though, because of the fact of if you look at Mike McCarthy's track record, his defensive coordinator is generally someone who has head coaching experience.
So. Do we expect any more changes? We're getting ready to talk to Mike McCarthy at the top of the hour. You can watch it on DallasCowboys.com. Or do you think this is it?
Well, I mean, I think the quarterback coach is up. I mean, I don't know that I can't even think of Scott McCurley. I think his contract's up. The
linebacker coach Scott McCurley.
Yeah. I mean, so what do we do there? And you get rid of George Edwards, you keep McCurley. McCurley failed in his first year, and I guess I go back to you saying the decision of defensive coordinator. Well, Mike McCarthy made a bad decision on his first to keep his defensive coordinator.
For sure.
So it's not a home run.
It's not guarantee. I agree.
That you're going to get a guy.
I'm sure everybody in this building, if they could sign off on it, would be like, we got to do whatever we can to keep Dan Quinn. But I'm just saying it's going to be tough to keep.
No. All of that. So I don't. There could be more people, like I said. And again, that's why it's,
Well, let me ask
how do you
this.
feel good after the way the season ended with all the coaching changes? What makes you feel good going into the offseason right now?
Well, let me ask you this. Before the answer that, let me say this. Mike Nolan and Dan Quinn. I mean, obviously, huge difference, right? Would you rather have Mike Nolan and Micah Parsons or Dan Quinn and Leighton Vander Esch like he had?
I still think Dan Quinn would do more with what Mike Nolan did than with that defense.
You would rather have. I'm asking because I know
you're trying to get me on the gotcha. I'm not.
No, I'm not trying to get on the gotcha. I'm trying to say
I don't deal with hypotheticals.
Okay, but you're saying like, oh, what a huge difference it was between Nolan and I'm Mike Nolan. Apologize.
That's a really good question.
I'm just saying, but Micah Parsons.
I'm very pro player, so I'm really torn on this.
Okay, but I guess what I'm saying is this: I've been around here.
Asked the question.
No, I've been around here for a long time. Okay,
yes,
and we've had great defensive coordinators before, Rob Marinelli, who were rigid in what they were doing. Who were rigid in what they were doing.
Ryan,
Let me finish.
Okay,
rigid in what they were doing and how they used players.
Yeah.
One reason why this guy named Watt wasn't here, okay, because he didn't fit the profile. So you can say that everybody would do what they did with Michael Parsons. I don't know that because some people will pigeonhole him and say, you're a linebacker, you're going to play a linebacker.
True.
Okay?
Fair. So he may not have seen the vision.
So everybody don't see the vision. I've been around there with coaches who are considered great defense coordinators who say, this is how we do things, how we've always done things, and we're not doing it any other way.
That's fair. I don't know if Dan Quinn was the one that got him to say, let's rush the passer.
Let's take a break.
We knew it was going to be strong.
When we come back, breaking news that is affecting one of the Dallas Cowboys coaches. Let's dive into that next with John Machota, The Athletic, Nick Eatman, DallasCowboys.com, Clarence Hill, Fort Worth Star Telegram has breaking news. So go handle that right here during the break. I'm Newy Scruggs. This is the Media Mash on DallasCowboys.com radio.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Home Ownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field. United Ag and Turf. With John Deere zero turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf. For winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Back to Media Mash.
Media Mash.
Kubiak.
Here we are. Second segment. Fireworks in the first one. Good debate here with John Machota, the Athletic. We got Nick Eatman, DallasCowboys.com, and the oldest, longest tenured beat writer on the Cowboys. He is Clarence Hill.
Saw his first road playoff win last week.
That's right.
It did.
That's right.
Which it technically wasn't a step because you said that they didn't take a step from last year. That was just
that was a step for you. Update that bio on your Twitter page.
I did.
Okay.
I did update. I added the playoff win. I already did.
Looks
I
like
added
you
the
took a
extra playoff
step.
win.
Look like you took
Let
a
me ask
step.
you a question. This is not on the sheet.
Yeah.
Why is it when you take that selfie on the airplane after on the road trip? Why do you always look so mad?
I'm not mad. No, it's first of all, it was early in the morning. I know it was early in the morning. That one was. I mean, it was early in the morning, and so I'm not happy.
Even
it's
when
6
you
a.m.
leave, though, even when you're going to the place, you've got that like. The bubbles that says like really, like he's got that.
Okay, sir.
I know you're not gonna be cheesing like. Hey.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be cheesing.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to. First of all, you're trying to take a selfie. You got people walking around you, so you're trying to do it quick. And it's just a lot of things going on.
I got it.
You got people, seating, and you don't want to get them in the picture. You're just trying to do a quick selfie.
But you're in first class. There shouldn't be a lot of that riffraff going on.
You work for the SRT. You know,
first
ain't
class
no first class.
Stop. Hey. That ain't got to do with the SRT. I don't see KXAS and NBC5 in first class.
And we won't.
Okay.
That's reserved for.
I don't see Dallas more noon
That's reserved for Rodney Harrison and other people like that. They ain't coming to me.
But I just do that for my people. I got people that enjoy that stuff. You see all the comments, especially people enjoy it.
I learned so many.
It's called
things.
feeding the beast.
I learned so many things based off of your Facebook and stuff that I didn't even know even existed.
Oh, yeah,
like just the stuff that you retweet and tweet and comment.
Go down.
There's one right there.
Oh my God!
What is that?
Going into combat. Like what?
Are you about to play?
It's like he's
got
going
a camo on.
It's like getting sent over with the troops.
Why are we doing this? Why are you putting it on the camera?
Is that for the ladies?
It was early in the morning, man. I hate to listen. Late night games. I mean, people understand. Late night, and you said it best though. Late night games.
He got 94 comments, so that
I'm just telling
there
people.
you go.
People
there you go.
talk.
94 comments.
Yeah.
Make it 95.
Hey, late night games, early in the morning flights. We have to get back. We're trying to get back for especially after when the season's over.
Oh, I know.
It's just a thankless trip. But people don't understand that you get the guys to go to the road games. You get to have fun. You cover the Cowboys.
This is leaving.
That's leaving.
This is leaving. Leaving. A little better. He doesn't look as tired.
What are you wearing?
I'm wearing a shirt. Make a shirt. It's gold.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, it's got like a red lightning bolt. I didn't know what
Yeah,
that was.
that's one of our things too.
Oh,
But anyway, it's thankless to a certain extent. I mean, yeah, we get paid to write football, go to games, but
oh yeah, we're not digging
you're
ditches
up all
over there.
night. I'm up all night writing 3 or 4 stories.
I've done that.
And sleep 2 hours. You got to get on this flight, come back, trying to get back to the locker room. It's just I've done this for 27 years.
My favorite is when people are asking me like after the game, like, "Oh, did you get so and so? Did you get so and so?" No, I walked with Jerry Jones halfway around the stadium and then talked with him with 3 other reporters outside of his car. Like, it's not like anywhere close to just, like just covering the seams just different than.
Right.
So are you a window guy?
It's definitely a window.
You're a window guy or you're an aisle guy?
I'm mainly an aisle guy, but sometimes early morning, I get the window so I can go to sleep.
Okay.
I was sleeping using
Yeah, so people
using the exit sign as a pillow.
Because some people, I hate
Sir,
when people.
are you willing to comply? Yes. Say yes.
No,
wake me up, I'll comply.
No, it's the people that need to go to the bathroom that wake you up to walk across you.
Yeah. And you want them to wake you up because you don't want them to just like hop over you.
Well,
Next
they
thing you know.
ain't no room to hop over anymore. I mean, they got to wake you
There's
up.
a little bit of room probably.
So
in
when
your-
I'm trying to sleep,
Not on these. Not on.
when I'm trying to sleep, I'm trying to get a window so I don't bother me.
You make it back in time for a locker room cleanup?
No, I didn't make it back in time because
It was early.
why would they do the locker room at 11?
I don't know. I don't think anybody was in there.
One person was in there.
Oh,
all right.
Good for them.
But yeah.
We are
So
not
anyway,
matching
I don't know
right
how
now.
we got down my Twitter timeline,
My fault.
my
It was my
Facebook
fault.
timeline.
I started it.
But
put us in the ditch.
But the bottom line, but let's keep it real. I mean, 27 years. That's and I like how we say, and it's cool to say, well, what happened in '96 is not on this team.
Right.
It's the Cowboys.
I say that.
You're added to the ledger though. You've added to the 26 years. So no, that's not on this team. But this is the team. This is the job. This is the monkey on the organization's back. It might not be on your back, but it's on the organization. It is 27 years. So yes, Dak had nothing to do with what happened in 2007, but you've added to the ledger now. So it's still all
Can we
of.
talk about that for a second?
It's all of yours. It's all of that.
Can we talk about the monkey on the back?
Let's talk about the monkey.
I did find it interesting how, I don't know if you ended up writing off this or not, but in that walk-off with Dak, when you asked him about the monkey on his back, he was
pissed.
very like, he wasn't pissed, but it was very like, well, first of all, when you asked it, the first thing I thought, especially because they were going to San Francisco, is there's that like really famous video after the Niners win that Super Bowl with Steve Young, and he tells like an offensive lineman something like, "Did you finally pull?" Whatever.
Yeah, right.
So I thought
that's the most cringiest video.
It is. But you've seen it a million times.
But my point is, people they don't want to talk about it, but we know it's there.
And I'm just saying how fast he responded to like, no, that's not. That's something that you're putting on us. We're not putting that on ourselves or whatever. But yeah, that was interesting.
I mean, yeah, you can say that we're not putting on ourselves, but it's the organizational thing. It's same reason why you get all the attention because of what they done back then. You're not getting the attention because of what you're doing now. You're getting attention. You're making the money you're making. You're on all these commercials because you're the quarterback of the Dallas football Cowboys.
So then let me ask you this.
And it's because of all the stuff that's been done in the past.
Would there be more pressure on Dak Prescott right now or less if, we'll say, the Tony Romo era, they would have reached a Super Bowl, reached an NFC Championship game? I just think that that Dak would still have it regardless of that because it is year 7, and the expectations with the Cowboys are that you should be able to make a run every.
No, it would still be high.
Yeah.
But the hill is just so. I mean, it's just so much junk on top of it now. I mean, it's 28 years. I mean, again, your kids. My kids have grown up never knowing the Cowboys to be winners, okay?
Yeah, I think most of the players probably haven't.
I mean, so all this stuff might well be Greek mythology.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm serious. I mean,
they teach it in school now.
I'm saying.
There was a time.
I mean,
there was a time.
Listen,
Socrates was at the Cowboys game.
I mean,
and saw Aikman.
I mean, these people today don't know nothing about the Cowboys being winners. I mean, my daughter just see the Cowboys going to win. They never. I mean, they don't. They have no recollection. They have no confidence in this organization doing anything beyond what they've done.
I will say, Michael Jackson popping out of that out of the top of that stage does seem like a long time ago in Pasadena.
Because it was. It was 30 years ago.
You know, and so
John, I was 22.
Just living your best life.
And so when you go into this game, how do you feel? I don't know.
30 years ago.
17.
I don't. How do you believe? How do you have belief?
I don't know, man. Like I really did think. Like I didn't pick them to win the game, but up until the Tony Pollard injury, I was like, man, they kind of got him right where they wanted.
Well, no, they had a good chance to win it, but at the end of the day, they didn't.
Yeah,
you know,
you're right,
and that's where we are. But I'm talking about going into the game. Everybody, what do you think? I said they got a chance to win, but I don't know. I can't. I wouldn't put any money on it.
I thought they were going. I thought you watch. We watch the game. Anything, any sport, you can see. If you watch enough football, basketball, you can see in about 5 minutes. You can tell, like, you get surprised every now and again, but you can pretty much tell who's better than the other team.
Yeah.
And this one was really close, but when they were driving there before the half, it looked like the Cowboys were better.
Oh yeah.
And then when Pollard got hurt, I remember just thinking, they're not going to win this game. And then the pick happened right afterwards, and it was like, they definitely wouldn't.
Everything has to go right.
And I'm telling you, like the first series, if you put their first defensive series in this game up against their first defensive series at AT&T Stadium last year, it was like two different teams.
No,
like they came out, I was like, damn.
And let's
Carlos Watkins is making plays.
Let's address that, because there's this notion that the defense played well enough to win. And when you take a step back and say, yes, they did. They only gave up 19 points. But as Coach used to say, you play the game you're asked to play that day. Okay?
Yeah.
And, yes, they gave up one touchdown. They shouldn't have gave up that one touchdown.
Sure.
They should not have gave it. So to act like the defense, quote-unquote, overall played winning football, catch the pick. Mm-hmm. That was, when Dak throws the ball, pops up, they get it. Catch the pick. You've been a turnover team all year. Catch the pick. When you have a chance to blow somebody up and not on the same drive, the tight end, make the play.
You're just going after Trayvon.
No, I'm just saying, but
I know.
Right. And I'm not going after Trayvon. I'm just saying that there are plays the defense could have made that could have changed the game.
I got another one.
You're making it though. When I hear you say it though, I have an argument with that, and that's that for all of that to happen, you're asking the defense to almost play perfect. Where I thought they played really good to great in that game, where all I thought the quarterback needed to do was just be solid to good.
No, I hear you. We are readily understanding and accepting that the offense did not play well. The quarterback turned the ball over. That ultimately cost them the game. Yeah. The idea that the defense played well enough to win, they played winning football, that's not true either. They could have. I'm just saying that to be a champion, make the plays. And that's on offense and defense. I'm sorry. There were chances. This defense had a chance to make plays like Fred Warner. Make the play.
Yeah.
Champions make plays. That goes on both sides of the ball.
When it's 16-12 and they've got the ball at the 11-minute mark, it's similar to that Eagle game where it's like, all right, you're in this game still, and the defense has kept you in it. And then for them to go on 11, an 8-minute drive.
The defense has to get off the field.
But I'm actually in between y'all.
There's no question the quarterback can't turn the ball over. There's no question they didn't have enough playmakers, especially when Tony Pollard got out. The offense they need more from the offense. But the notion that the defense played championship football is wrong.
I'm gonna agree with that.
That's wrong.
But I'll take my chances on them playing like that again.
You will.
And hope that
But again, you play the game you're asked to play that day. That day, the defense was asked to not give up nothing.
Let's get another break in here. When we come back, I will talk about that breaking news in the National Football League that affects the Cowboys coach. We will do that with Clarence Hill,
down a rabbit hole
Nick
down
Eatman,
my Facebook.
Machota. I'm Newy Scruggs, the Media Mash on DallasCowboys.com radio.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field, United Ag and Turf. With John Deere zero turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
This week! Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Little Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is.
It's a non-fungible token. Everyone's on something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Home Ownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Back to Media Mash.
Newy Scruggs on the Media Mash along with Clarence Hill, Nick Eatman, and John Machota. The Carolina Panthers have hired Frank Reich to be their next head football coach. Kellen Moore had interviewed for the job, so he will not become the head coach of the Panthers. I don't think he'll become a head coach of any team this offseason go around here. So, with the changes, do we anticipate Kellen Moore being back? We will talk to the head coach, Mike McCarthy, at the top of the hour. Clarence.
Kellen Moore has 1 year left on his deal, and there's a thought process that to take the next step, you need to change things for Dak Prescott, make him more uncomfortable, do something that's going to get him. I don't know. I mean, numbers-wise, the offense looks good. In the playoffs, it has not. In those curl routes, stick routes, whatever you do. I mean, this whole Jason Garrett offense stuff, I think it's kind of stale. Mm-hmm. You might need to move on to take the next step.
That's a tough one because I mean there are times when there's been some plays, not every series or maybe one or two a game, but I thought even in the first playoff game, I thought there were a lot of plays where I thought it was really good. I mean, what people asked of Kellen Moore after the 49ers loss last year was you got to get CD involved, you got to figure out how to get Pollard involved and scheme them open, and I thought he did a nice job of that this year. But I'm still to the point where if you're going, you have to stick with Dak from a numbers standpoint, salary, and I do think maybe it's time for a different voice. And just because Jerry maybe he wanted to make a move, but I mean you're not going to make a move if the guy's interviewing for a job, So,
but my thing is, I was just talking about else about it. If you move on from Kellen, who you moving to?
Right.
Yeah. I mean I don't
choices in the building.
Yeah, but that's
offense coordinator choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Schottenheimer.
Brian Schottenheimer?
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about the head coach taking it over.
You've got him. I mean, you've got choices.
How do you feel about Cliff Kingsbury?
Can somebody get a hold of him in Thailand?
I thought he's in Thailand. Yeah, coming back.
You don't think they know about the Dallas Cowboys in Thailand?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just saying. I think that
I would not bring in Cliff Kingsbury. No.
If he doesn't get a head coaching job, I think Kellen Moore will end up being back. But I also agree that
he's not getting a head coaching job.
Well, okay, but I'm just saying that I'm not down on him the way I feel like there's a lot of people that have they're dug in on it's either Dak's fault or it's Kellen's fault, and you take one side or the other. And I don't think that either of them are terrible. I think that one, you're not moving on from Dak because I think it would be foolish. Even if he wasn't under the contract, I'm not moving on from Dak Prescott because there's a far greater chance you get back to Quincy Carter, Vinny Testaverde years than you're going to be to find the next Dak Prescott or the next Tony Romo or whoever's in that. So you have to find something that's going to make him better than he was this year, and maybe that means you have to go with a different play caller to just change things up, just to change things up. I mean, I
think that's part of it. It's not like Kellen Moore's done a bad job. I think he's done a good job. But you know what I'm talking about. You
go on Twitter, man. People think he's like the worst guy that's ever called a play, and you're just like, you really think it's just him? You really think that it's all on him?
And it's not just Dak, but a different voice. Maybe it's time for a different voice because too much is on the line now. I mean, Mike
McCarthy. Would you rather have Kellen Moore back or Mike McCarthy call the plays?
McCarthy called the plays. Bill Parcells is out here. He did that 33rd team, and he went down the Cowboys, and he thinks that he says right here on says Super Bowl winning coach said he likes what he sees from the team on defense, but on offense, particularly Kellen Moore's play calling is hurting the team.
Okay.
And he also said about Dak Prescott, quote, they don't have a top top quality quarterback in Dak Prescott, but I do think he's good enough to win with.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's good.
Yeah.
See,
This guy won with Ray Lucas and Quincy Carter to the playoffs.
What drives me crazy is the
He's
notion.
going to think that way. I'm sorry. I
Well,
love
but
Bill,
he
but I'm
don't-
just saying.
But he don't have
He's
to think that way.
he's a bus driver.
But
he
he
likes bus
doesn't.
drivers.
Okay, but what I'm saying is this: you don't even have to look at Quincy Carter. You can look at Brock Purdy. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you don't have to do that. What I'm saying is that the idea that Dak shows he can't take you to the Super Bowl, that's not true, because Brock Purdy or Jalen Hurts is going to take somebody to the Super Bowl this year.
But they make $1 million a year.
Huh?
But they
No,
make $1 million a year.
No, we're not talking about money-wise. I'm talking
But you
about the
have
player.
to, because
But
you're
you
talking
have
about
to,
yeah,
because
because the talent that those teams
That's
have.
how you get. That's how you acquire Christian McCaffrey on your team, or you go get AJ Brown, because you can go do that stuff. And the minute Dak
I don't think that the Cowboys' lack of weapons this year, letting Amari Cooper go, choosing to sign Gallup, choosing whatever, they made this. They could have kept Amari Cooper. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah, they could have.
It had nothing to do with Dak's money. Okay, they could have kept Amari Cooper. They could have added more weapons. They could have spent more money. It had nothing to do with Dak.
Every time he brings this up, though, I just have a thought of just like, wow, would we really be sitting here just so shocked if Amari Cooper was on the field and they still lost that Niners game?
No, I'm
Like,
just. I'm getting.
He's not DeAndre Hopkins, is what I'm getting.
I agree. I'm just using him as an example.
Right.
What I'm saying is,
Everybody
this
goes back to
team,
it because it's
with
like
this
clearly
team,
the worst decision they made.
When I talk about those guys, though, I talk about the weapons around them. Okay, week in and week out, the Cowboys stepped on the field with the worst receiving core on the field. Okay, and Brock Purdy, yes, he's on a contract. I'm just talking about Debo. I'm talking about his weapons that they have.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so the notion, and you could talk about money. I'm talking about the notion that you can't win with Dak Prescott, the player. If you give him weapons, they can take the next step. Dak Prescott is not a player that can uplift, which Stephen Jones told us last year. Well, he's a franchise quarterback, paying him $40 million. He can uplift lesser areas on the team. That's wrong.
I'll tell you what's disappointing.
That's wrong.
I'll tell you what was
And
disappointing.
he's making $40 million a year, so therefore you've got to find the cheap weapon. No, we're saying the same thing. It's just harder to go get those weapons because you've got a really, really, really expensive bus driver.
Right.
So now you've got to find Tony Pollard in the 4th round, and he's got to produce early. You've got to get cheap weapons to do that on their first contract.
Okay, I guess all of that's true. I'm just saying that Dak Prescott, the player, is not a non-starter when it comes to taking the team to the Super Bowl.
No,
now,
I mean, if you
that's all I'm saying.
If you just tell me he cleans up the interceptions,
yes,
if you tell me he
because they
cleans
could have
up the
done
interceptions,
because as we said, if they don't have the picks, they win this week.
Yeah.
You know, so even with the money, but overall, and I hear what you're saying, and we've had this conversation. You know, they didn't win with Amari Cooper. There's no guarantee they win with Amari Cooper next year. The difference between last year and this year, the entire team was better last year. The defense was better last year. The offense wasn't. And I'm just saying, I do not like going into a season taking a step back talent-wise on offense.
Yep.
You thought last year's team was better than this year's
No,
team?
I said this year's team was better. Me and John have had this
I thought you
conversation.
said last year's
No.
team. Okay.
No.
He
He's
did
saying
say that, didn't he? He said
I didn't mean it.
Last
We've been
year's-
having
this year's team is better.
This year's team was
Agreed.
overall better. Overall, defensively, everywhere else, it was better team.
Yeah, I agree.
So yes, they had the same record. They did the same thing they did with Amari Cooper,
Played
but
in
they
a-
were a lesser team on offense
played
this
in
year
a
than they were
much
last
tougher
year.
division.
Yes.
And I mean, look at the
They were a
final,
lesser team than they were this
Final
last
Four
year.
teams that are still standing right now. I mean, they played. They're 2-2 against those teams. You know, they played a much tougher schedule this year, and they held their own. They had better quality wins.
Yeah,
this
they
year.
had a better
I
team.
agree. I agree.
But at the end of the day, the goal
Yeah.
is to not, be even. It's not to be the same. It's to take the next step. And I don't know how you can take the next step with lesser players.
John?
I mean, I pretty much made my case on this. Like, I thought they made a mistake by letting go of Amari Cooper. But to me, the way I look at Amari Cooper is in a way, and I don't think he's as good as Scottie Pippen, but Scottie Pippen has gotten better in the last decade by everybody that likes to hate on that's pro LeBron and likes to hate on Jordan. All of a sudden, just like, oh, he didn't do anything before Scottie, and all of a sudden, it just like you put him to this level. Like, I watched all of those. Like, yeah, he was a really good player, but it wasn't like it was like he was the reason that they won. Michael Jordan is the reason. And then like now that every week that goes by that they didn't have Amari Cooper, it's just like he keeps getting better and better. Like we haven't seen games that really mattered for the Cowboys over the last 3 or 4 years that Amari Cooper was on the field, and he didn't really do much in those games. So that's the only reason why I'm saying that. I get where you're coming from. They would have been better with Amari Cooper, but there's also that. if he's out on that field on Sunday, I also don't sit there and go, oh, they would have won that game for
no,
sure.
No, I'm not saying that.
Where I'm telling you, if Tony Pollard doesn't get hurt, I feel very good that they win that game.
Let's switch gears here because we got 5 minutes left in the show. McCarthy comes up the top 3 o'clock. What do you want to know from head coach Mike McCarthy?
Who called that very last play? No, I'm just kidding.
Kellen Moore.
Who designed?
No, I don't think he did.
Kellen Moore.
No, I don't. When watching the TV copy over again, I don't. That's a John Fossil play.
No, this is what I heard. They did not expect the 49ers to play that defense. That play.
Well, they called a timeout.
The 49ers called a timeout. That play was designed for them to play coverage.
Yeah.
And, a coach told me the 49ers played more aggressive on that final play than they did on the third down play. They did not expect them to blow up Zeke and blow up like in blitz.
Yeah.
Because they thought they were going to play coverage. Like most teams, you're going to play coverage. So that's why that play looked like it did, because the way the 49ers played. They did not expect the 49ers to play that defense and be that aggressive on that play.
So basically, my biggest question will be, how do you get Dak better? How does Dak get better? How do you get Dak to take another step? Because this is a quarterback league, and for them to go far, he's going to have to play better. How this offseason, how do you make Dak Prescott better?
I don't know that, and I like that question. Dak needs to be better.
Yeah.
Okay? Or be what he was.
Right, but I'm just saying that question's very open because it's not just about Dak. It could be also he could say we need to get him more help.
I guess what I'm saying is his track record for the first 6 years is Dak is not a turnover quarterback.
Right.
Can Dak be better and be that quarterback and not necessarily elevate to take the next step?
Yeah.
Just be who you were last year.
Yeah.
Can we get Dak to not try to do too much, not try to be aggressive, take the check downs? I understand that, there were 6 or 7 check downs in that game that he did not take. You don't necessarily have to. Dak doesn't necessarily have to morph into some great quarterback.
But he needs to be better than he was this year.
Right,
is what I'm saying. So even if that means doing things he did before this, that's fine. But he needs to be better than he was this year. And
history's, don't say, Dak, you're $40 million. I need you to make the difference for this team. Dak, be who you are. Be the smart. We paid you money. We didn't pay you $40 million because you're Aaron Rodgers or because you're Patrick Mahomes. We paid you money because you're a leader, you're a good decision maker, you're a smart guy. Be that guy. Nick?
I don't know. I'd almost rather look back than look forward because I don't know if he's going to give you a whole lot looking forward. But if you were to do that, I would say, what does your running back situation look like? Like obviously you're going to say that you love Zeke and everything he does for you as a running back and a center, but also
fullback.
Fullback. But what does the running back situation look like? Can you have Pollard coming back, but then he's got to get re-signed. It's just so much up in the air. Again, I don't think he's going to give answers. I'm just like, that's a question there. And can you figure out a way to get Bijan Robinson to fall 26 spots?
Wow.
Can he? Will he?
Is Tyler Smith your left tackle?
Yeah.
The question is Tyler Smith your right tackle? When is Terrence Steele going to be ready?
Yeah, that's true.
Why are you looking at me like I'm doing the chords or something? I don't
know.
Because
I can't remember. He has a torn Achilles or torn ACL.
Yeah.
I don't know that he'll be ready for the start of the season. You need a right tackle.
I think he would be ready for the start of the season. Again, every player's different. I get it, but if your wide receiver that has surgery in February is able to play in week 4 of the season, I would think Terrence Steele, who got hurt in the Colts game or the Houston game?
December, yeah.
Early December.
It's going to be close.
Yeah, you're right. It'd be close. Big lineman,
Well, I'm saying you just need you. First of all, Peter's not coming back. You're not really. I don't know if you're comfortable at your backup tackles right now. You need some insurance.
Who's coaching them?
How about Lunda Wells?
Who's calling plays?
Maybe Jeff Blasco.
There we go. We can find out top down. Who's calling the plays? Who's your coordinator? Lots to get into. Head coach Mike McCarthy coming your way at 3 p.m. Central Time right here on DallasCowboys.com. This is the Media Mash for Clarence Hill. Get the energy drink in, baby. I know you're ready for McCarthy. Go round and round with head coach Mike McCarthy. Got the energy drink. I don't know if that's the official energy drink of the Dallas Cowboys.
Do they have official energy drink?
Yeah, got official thing. It's Nick Eatman at DallasCowboys.com.
Sub-official Super Bowl in 27 years.
Got 5 of them over there.
And John Machota, I'm Newy Scruggs. Goodbye.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?